So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Glad y'all came to the Webb City School Board Candidates Forum. The Webb City Community Teachers Association are honored to be hosting this event. We wish to thank the Webb City School District, Dr. Rossetti, Dr. Flora, Dr. Bird, and Mr. Wilkie at the Webb City High School for permitting us to host this event here. We look forward to meeting the candidates and learning about his or her goals for Webb City schools. We know your time is precious and are honored that you chose to support our schools by becoming an educated voter. School board elections typically attract about 10% of the voters in a community. Yet, it is the school board that has the most impact on our daily lives. These members will set the direction the schools will go. They will decide how to care for our buildings, the financial management and curriculum that is taught, as well as they will lead the district. They will choose who leads the district and who teaches our students. America has a long tradition of representative government as well as support of education. The school board is both. This is your opportunity to get to know these candidates and make an informed decision. And to inform us on the school board's role in Webb City is Dr. Rossetti.
Thank you, Linda. The school board role in public education, these people before you today are stepping out in front to address a leadership role in our community. They help guide the school district, setting goals, setting policy, overseeing financials, as well as being advocates at the state legislative level. They give up their time. It's a volunteer position. It is not financially compensated, but I always say that it is compensated by the growth that we see with our students and our kids. It's important that we have honorable people to step forward and do this hard work. School boards, if you've seen anything in the national agenda, it's more challenging than ever to make our schools a wonderful place for all of our students. And it takes people that are willing to put forth an effort and really put children first. And I will say that the most important thing for our school board person is that for them to be a champion of the children in the community they serve. And that's the most important thing. If they keep that their heart and soul of every decision that they make, we have wonderful people in front of you. I'm very pleased that they're all here tonight to be able to participate, and thank you for being here as well.
Thank you, Dr. Rossetti. Okay, just so that you understand the guidelines, each candidate will have 2 minutes to introduce himself or herself to us. Then we will have a question and answer time. During this time, each candidate will answer the questions that have been submitted by our audience. To expedite the process, we have pre-collected your questions as you entered, and we will attempt to answer every one of your questions in a timely and respectful manner. Now, to introduce our candidates. In order how their names will appear on the ballot, that is how I have them sitting. We have David Collard, William Roderick, Jeannie Newby, and Aaron Taylor. Now, what we will do is we're going to start off with Mr. Collard and have him introduce himself, and each one of you come all the way down. Then when it comes time for the first question, we'll start off with Mr. Roderick and have him answer the first question. Everyone will answer the question, and then the third, Ms. Newby, and then the fourth, Ms. Newby. Sounds good?
So you just want to introduce yourselves?
First, you're introducing yourselves. Yes, sir.
I think she already told you I'm Dave Collard. Introduce myself, so what else do you want?
You can tell us a little something about yourselves
Wait
while
for
you're ready.
instructions.
Yes, I apologize.
Yes. As you know, I've been on the board some time, and I would like to be reelected again. I feel like that We have a great district, and what Dr. Rossetti said is what is true. This district is about the education of our children, and the education is first. Extracurricular is extracurricular, but the education and the success of our students is what we're about. It's what our board does. We've been consistent for a long time with our decisions, and as Dr. Rossetti said, we're involved in academics, we're involved in the buildings, we're involved in the finance, but our job as school board members is not to try to run the school, it's to see we have hired the right people to make the right decisions, and we overlook that, and we proceed in that manner. And so the success of our students, whether they go on to college or whether they're going into the workforce, we want them ready, we want them to be successful, we want them to be happy. And that's what my mission is. Thank you.
My name is Will Roderick. Graduated from Webb City High School, attended Webb City schools all my life. Born and raised here. Been on the board slightly less than Dave, but this is my 30th year, so I used to be a young timer, now I'm an old timer. My wife Cheryl and I, we've been married for a little over 31 years. We have 3 children, 2 daughters-in-law. Let's see, one of our sons is a vice principal at the junior high. Daughter-in-law is a teacher at the junior high, and then another daughter-in-law spent some time in education and decided to stay home with our kiddos when our grandchildren started coming. And so I love Webb City, love the community, love the camaraderie. I love the teamwork between the school district and the city of Webb City and the community. It feels like the right size community to where we're big enough to offer a lot of programs to students, and we're also small enough to where we can all get along and we can all deal with issues. Let's see what else. Graduated from Missouri Southern. This is all in the program. I don't have anything eloquent like Dave did, but you know. But I do believe that our role is not a role to be at the school every day. It is not a role to be bringing issues to a superintendent that need to go to a principal or to a vice principal or to a director of a program. I think the safety of our teachers today is more important than it was 20 years ago. But you know, I have a passion for public education, and happy to be here tonight.
Her mic is different than ours. Oh yeah, it's on.
Okay, my name is Jeannie Newby, and I thought I was just supposed to tell you about me, and so I did. I said down here that you may know me as a fellow graduate, you may know me as a schoolmate, you may know me as a school board member, you may know me as a local historian, a newspaper columnist, an author, you may just be my friend. Or you may know me from Mining Days Committee. That's going back into the past. Or you may know me as the lady who lives in the log cabin that you go by her house when you ride the streetcar. I don't know if that's important or not. But if you do know me, you know I love Webb City. That is my pride and joy is to be from Webb City. It's my pride and joy to be associated with the school board district. When I was a realtor, I remember being so impressed that most of my customers wanted to look at a house in Webb City because of the school board. Anyway, that's about all I've got to say. Webb City is my life.
I'm Erin Taylor. I have never been on the school board before. I did graduate from Webb City High School in 2001. I married my high school sweetheart, who graduated in 2002. We have 5 kids, one in the junior high, one in the middle school, 2 at Carterville Elementary, and one not quite ready for school yet. I've got a niece and nephew at the high school, and I am interested in the kids in this district, just like Dr. Rossetti said. My husband and I do foster care, so our eyes have been open to a lot of new and different things that we would have never learned had we not taken a leap and opened our home to that adventure. I was a teacher for 5 years after graduating from Missouri Southern. I taught and coached volleyball and did all the extracurriculars and loved every minute of it, but once it was time to start a family, I did decide to stay home with those kids, and now that most of them are in school, I've started some other new adventures. I'm pretty active in the community as well, and I do work part-time at a little church, Carterville Christian Church down the street. And I do have a heart for the kids and the teachers in the community. I have a lot of classmates and friends who work in the district. And I want to support them, and I want to support a unified community and school. So,
Okay, thank you. Now your first question. What is one thing you are most excited about for the future of Webb City Schools?
Well, I'm excited about we've got some things going on as far as construction-wise. You know, we have a great addition here at the high school. We're bringing in some family and consumer sciences department, giving them an updated facility, adding some classrooms, and just improving the facility there. You know, I know that we have a lot of facilities around the district that need a lot more care than others, but I think we passed the general obligation bond last year. We're starting to get to see those dollars build something, and I think that we've seen a real excitement around new school buildings, and I think we've seen a real excitement around other facilities. Like, I think this addition over here is going to grab a lot of people's attention and get a lot of kids excited about education. And so I'm looking forward to that. I feel like we have a great leadership team in Webb City. I feel like we have a great group of teachers and principals in all of the school buildings, and they love kids. And, you know, coming out of COVID, where lots of, there's a lot of mental health issues, a lot more than there were a few years ago, and I think that it's particularly challenging for teachers right now. And so, honestly, I'm looking forward to coming out of this and teachers getting to teach more and not having classes full of in-school suspensions and behavior issues.
Thank you. Ms. Newby?
Yes, I'd like to add on to what Willie said.
Oh, we're going to go all the way down, and then we're going to end with you. Yes. I apologize. Okay. Same question. Everybody gets to answer the same question.
I'm looking forward to everything with our school district. I mean, we are one of the best school districts around, and we don't have any problem with the teachers can come and talk to us and ask us questions, and we can try and help them any way we can. I am excited about the fact that we have quite a, what's the word I'm trying to do? We have all of our schools right here together around the high school, you know, a campus. Our campus is really impressive. I mean, anyone coming to this stadium has to be impressed with what we've got going on down the road. You know, it's just we have a very beautiful school, and I'm thankful for that.
I guess I would say I'm most excited to see where Webb City heads in the future. I think we do have a long-standing tradition of high achievement and high success rates of our students in extracurriculars and academic activities, and I'm just excited because I know there's some changes coming on the horizon. There's some new leadership stepping in, and maybe some new leadership moving out, and some changes I think that can be really good. I like to see people stretch and grow and figure out new ways to solve old problems. And I'm excited to see some growth and some new changes.
I just want to make a note that something, it's not excited about it, but it's something that's been a real concern that we have addressed, and that was security in our school. And we are hammering on that hard because we want to protect these teachers and we want to protect these students all the time around the clock. We have new locks on the doors that tell us when that door's open. We've had a problem in our school with keeping doors open, and that needs to stop, and we're doing the details that get that prevented. Jeannie and Will and Aaron have talked about our school growing, about changing and being open-minded. They didn't say open-minded, but we have to be open-minded. But we also have to be realistic with what we do for one child, we do for all, and what we do for all children, we do for one. So it's not just like we can just make a one or something. Our board's been very good. We have different ideas, we have different thoughts, we have arguments, but we generally end with 7-0. We make our decision and we stand by it because our community depends on us to make the right decisions. So I'm excited about our community being behind us the way they are. Our bond issues through the years have proven that. On the large vote, you mentioned about 10% being voting, but we have large support on our bond issues. And so that's something to be excited about our school for continued growth, and it's for the future of our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next question. How do you think it would be best to manage future growth at Webb City? It's how best to manage future growth at Webb City.
Can you hear me? We've had a constant growth anyway. I mean, there's not a year goes by that we don't have a large growth. We do very well. But one of the things that going into the school board, one of the things that impresses me about our school board is that we don't try to micromanage the administration and the teachers. I was a newspaper reporter for a local school district, and they did micromanage. And it really caused a lot of problems, and so that's what really impressed me about Webb City is we hire the right people to run things and to keep us informed, but we don't micromanage. And our growth, our school is amazing to think ahead. And so we constantly think ahead of what the population is going to be and the students. And they try to make sure that we are ready. We're ready with teachers, we're ready with classrooms, we're ready for any growth like that we have.
I love that everyone up here is saying that we hire good people and we trust them to work and to do what they're supposed to do. I love that, and I love it so much because I know a lot of the school employees, and a lot of them are classmates of mine from here at Webb City. And that means the world to me that we put our faith in them, because I send my babies out to them every day, and they spend more time with them awake than they do with me most days. So that's a big deal as a parent. The question was, I'm sorry.
How best to manage the future growth at Webb City?
So the growth, I think it fits in with that. I think that we trust our staff, our employees, our district people to help guide us in that decision. They're in there every day working in and out. They know how crowded the classrooms are. They know if we have issues with certain students and they need extra space. They know if we need more space in this extra elective area because it's garnered a lot of interest. They know, and I think the most important part of the growth plan is for district employees to know what that is. and to have a say and to give some input and have their opinion heard about that. You know, they're the ones going to be affected by it day in and day out. You know, kids go through the district and they graduate and they leave. They may like something or not, but your employees, if you've hired good ones and they like you, they're the ones who are there for the long haul.
The strength of our community is the reason that we can plan for growth. Through a long time, we have been always active in telling our community what we're wanting to do. And I think that reflects in the success of our school bonds through the years. As Bob can probably tell you, Foos, but we've had 4 superintendents since 1958. And Dr. Rossetti is our 4th, and he's been here 13 years now. And we've been able to keep consistency in our school district, and I think that's helped our expansion and our growth. Each month, we address what the issues are that we're working on as far as our gains on our property, gains on our buildings and what have you. So we have a plan, and Jenny referred to that, but we've had a plan for a long time. And it's not like 2 years out, it's 3 years out, it's 10 years out. We're always looking for what's going to happen in the future. And I think we'll continue to grow. Most people don't realize we're only about 5 or 6 miles wide and about 8 long. So our community, we're pretty condensed. And so the expansion out towards Ornogo, up in that Greystone, that's going to grow. And then there's some down on St. Louis Street. We have to plan for what's going to happen with our children and keep our class sizes down. We work hard on that every month. We look at that. And administration does a good job of bringing that to us and keeping us informed. But community growth, I think you're going to see the growth in our school system as we keep our community involved and we stay consistent with what we're doing. Thank you.
So, you know, public education is not like a lot of other businesses where you get to choose your customers. We don't get to choose our customers. The growth is something that we just have to deal with. And I think that maintaining good financial footing, maintaining reserve funds for things that are going to happen that we know will happen, although we don't know what or when it is. You know, we're planning for that. And so having good financial footing, which we've had for many, many years, makes us more able to handle certain growth. We do have within the last few years, we've developed a kind of a punch list of here's what I think priorities might be. Our administrative team at the central office has developed this, and you know we're looking at that, maybe not monthly, but it's there, you know, and so we're not necessarily trying to grow like a business would try to grow. We're reacting to what's happening. We could do a study that says, hey, you're going to gain 100 students next year because you're going to have 500 new homes built. Well, we don't really know that there's going to be students in those homes. And so having financial footing is a big part of managing growth. And you know, we are fortunate that people want to live here, want to have their kids educated here, but it's communication on a regular basis amongst the board and with the central office team. What do we need to be thinking about in terms of facilities, which means teachers and other resources. So.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Most candidates up for election have been on the board for many years. When is it time for the next generation of school board members?
This is my question
That's your question?
now.
Yeah.
Me.
I think that's kind of interesting. It was not made that way, honestly.
Honestly, these people were on the school board when I was in school, and I love my school district, and I am very proud and appreciate everything that I have gained from being a Webb City graduate. My kids love this community. We're very proud to be Webb City Cardinals. I don't have anything bad to say about any board members, but if you wanted to go, I'm here. But I mean, this is something that I've thought about for a few years for me. So I'll just be honest, I've prayed about it, and I've talked to lots of employees and lots of friends and family members, and I feel like it's a good time for me to jump in. So we'll see if the community feels the same way.
It's always an interesting question, and and Will and I have talked. You know, we've been here a long time. Jeannie's been here quite a while, and we feel like there's some consistency on our board. We all represent a different type of background, education. Mine's a rural involvement. I went to the University of Missouri, got my degree in Bachelor of Science in Agriculture. But we bring a different reflection, and I will tell you that I will get off the day that I feel like I do not have a value to this community, but I feel like I still do. And so that's why I'm running for re-election. Thank you.
Good question, interesting question. Having been on so long, I feel like it's partly directed at me, you know, so, you know, when I got on the board, it was in 1993. Our oldest son was just born within a day or two of the election. And the reason I ran is because Missouri added a seventh board member to all public school boards. It was 6 members before then. And I think back about that, and I think, you know, 7-member board with 3 open seats, and I don't know if you were an incumbent. You were an incumbent, yes. And that's, you know, it's 3 out of 7. It's not a majority, but, you know, in a community like ours, having some consistency, and I'm not saying the same old fuddy-duddies, I mean some consistency in a smooth transition. I think it would be dangerous for multiple members of a board to go in a community like Webb City that has so much going for it. There are some local districts that every time there's a school board race, there are multiple challengers, and you know, it's probably a healthy thing, but I often, you know, get concerned that maybe it's just some negativity, some axes to grind, some people that think, by gosh, my kid didn't get hired, or my kid didn't get to play first chair, or whatever, you know. And so again, it goes back to our community size with what I feel like, and again, I'm maybe biased, having a smooth, gradual transition of members. I'm, you know, definitely not plan on staying on forever, but having grandkids in the district that are going to be, you know, coming up, having some kids teaching, I'm definitely interested in it, but I think there's probably some balance of people transitioning out and people transitioning in, and I think there's lots of great community members that would be great board members.
Well, now, I was on that same year night that they added the 7th person, but I took a 10-year break in there too, so I haven't been on as long as they have. They're older. I am impressed with our school board, no matter how many years each of them has been on, for the fact that whenever we come up with a discussion of something that really needs to be taken care of, each one of our board members strives in some particular case, you know, like something that they know how to do something. Well, Will is really important to us because he does taxes. He knows the answers for those of us who don't know the answers. You know, but it's not just him and his taxes. There's each one of our board members has got something that they're really good at, and they come in handy at the time that we need them. And I think that is impressive, no matter how many years they have been serving on the school board. And I know I'm getting older. I realize that. I look in the mirror. But I still feel like they still have something to offer. I don't know for definitely what my one is, but we all get along. It's so fascinating to watch this school board as they make discussions on different things, and they all handle things well, and they don't, I think they said we argue, but we don't really argue, we discuss. Anyway, I think we have an excellent school board. And not that you're not, wouldn't be welcome.
Okay, remember, I'm reading other people's questions, okay? Okay, Mr. Colliard, this is yours. How do you feel about open enrollment legislation? How do you feel about open enrollment legislation? Your turn. Yes, sir. You get to go first.
That's an interesting question as well, but it's a complex question. I think open enrollment in the state of Missouri, personally, I think it's a detriment. Students moving back and forth, their money following them wherever they want to go, jump from one to another, and it's going to be very hard on public education for consistency. I know that Kansas City, St. Louis, legislation, people are pushing for it hard. Knock on wood, back to about the security that we have, that we're putting in. We know that things are changing for our kids and we got to protect them. Those districts up there, they have horrible things to deal with that we're so fortunate. We may have a little fringe of it, but not to the depth that they do. And it's a whole different situation than what we have right here in Southwest Missouri. And I'm talking about Carl Junction, Joplin, Neosho, McDonald County, Carthage, Circoxie, all these small schools. We may be an opponent to Carthage on something, but we're all in this together down here. And I think it would really be damaging to our district, to our education system in the state of Missouri.
I kind of to second on what Dave is saying there. You know, it's hard enough for us to plan with enrollments and resources that we need as it is, as far as, you know, how many students we have in our district, how many students we're going to serve, how many teachers do we need, what do our facilities need to be like to support all of that. And I think it would hurt a lot of districts that would be losing kids. I think it would be a great challenge to a lot of districts like ours, that I think we would have more students coming in, and possibly more than we could handle you know, but the funding to follow it, I think it would cause a great disruption with school districts, those losing students and those gaining students. And so, you know, I love public education. I love that it provides the same opportunities for every kid, regardless of, you know, where they come from. And we take them. They move in. We take them. I think that adding that extra layer of students can, you know, kind of come from who knows where, just will make it much more difficult for us to manage.
I also kind of agree with Dave and Will. The fact that we have such a great school district, that if everyone began to choose our school district because they wanted to be in the best one in the area, then we're going to get students who have been kicked out of other schools that can't get into schools, and then they're going to come to our school, and they're going to be one of those problem childs, which I know we shouldn't label anyone as a problem child. But there are those who have been kicked out of multiple schools, and we would be open for that type of enrollment. We would also have, I had another thought there, but anyway, I mean, we do handle we do have those kind of students, and we do handle them. As they move into our area, we do take them in. We are an unusual school as far as we're a little harder for the kids to adjust to, as far as we do have some strict motions that we like to take care of. and other schools are rather lax on some of those. So we do have that problem. If they're coming into our school, they're going to want to change the way our school is functioning, and that's not going to be helpful.
Give me a 3. Open enrollment in the state of Missouri, yes, I can see how that could cause some issues. It could increase your funding, though, if you had a whole bunch of kids come to your school district, which would be great, except then you have to deal with all of those kids in your district. And how does that work? Is there a plan? When do you know how many kids that you're going to have? Because I know in our schools right now, it can come down to the first week of school, and we still, we got 20 more kids this last week. I've talked to our secretary at Carterville, and she sometimes doesn't know, they can't tell us who's going to be in what class because there might be a large influx of students. So I think that's an issue. I think that's an issue right now. I think maybe what needs to be looked at is some better ways to plan out our years and give teachers and secretaries or whoever it is making these lists the information that they need. So it sounds like if open enrollment is going to be a thing, it definitely needs to come with some guidelines and some rules and things that need to be followed, because it sounds like that could be a really big disaster. Classrooms overfilled and teachers frustrated. I think that would be really a terrible thing. So.
Definitely. Okay, next question. How best to address statewide and/or local teacher shortage and low salaries?
Good question. Shortages of teachers is, it's not unlike other industries that are facing shortages. I think that to say it's unique to teachers, no, it's not. It's not unique to not having bus drivers or cooks or custodians so I think that's a more of a regional or national issue. The shortages. I think we're doing what we can. I don't think we want to shortcut educations that we're expecting people to get in order to be with our kids. I think we have to be better. It's more competitive. Maybe we come up with some creative ways to handle, for one, teachers out there, please don't hang me for saying this, but creative ways to handle more kids, not necessarily for one teacher, but with some assistants in the room or something like that. But teachers are not paid. They're not paid for the job that they do and for what they're continually expected to do, which is more and more parenting, more disciplining, particularly for a relatively, I think, small percentage of students that maybe don't have the parenting that might make them easier to handle at school. Teachers are not paid high salaries. Missouri teachers have a great retirement system. That carrot's hanging out there for a 25-year-old teacher. That's probably maybe not enough of an incentive. It's when you're 25 versus 55, you see things like that much differently. And I think that we have to support them. We have to continue to show them how meaningful their career is to kids, and we have to make it easier for them, the things that they didn't go into teaching for, like discipline and handling disruptive students. We have to make some of those things more appealing. Webb City's competitive at starting salaries, not as competitive at ending salaries for 20 or 30-year teacher. I think we have to work on that.
Well, one of the things I'm impressed with, we always have the new teacher of the year luncheon, where we get to meet all the new teachers for that year. And it's really fascinating to talk to all these people who are just coming into Webb City for the first time. What impresses me the most is each one of them says, I've been waiting. I've been waiting for an opening at Webb City. I wanted to be at Webb City. Now, the reason that there's such a good camaraderie among our teachers, they all get along so well. They even have, a partner for each new teacher and stuff, you know. I think this is one of the things that makes Web City so sought after, is because their teacher unit is so well done. And that does not have anything to do with their salary or anything along that line, but it's very important. It's important to bring them all in.
I was a teacher, and when I graduated from Missouri Southern, I did want to come to work here at Web City, but I taught an elective, a high school elective, and I couldn't get those teachers to get out of Web City. So I had to shop around a little bit and actually went to teach in Kansas, where the starting pay was much, much higher. And my husband was very grateful. But I would tell you, I know a lot of teachers then from being a teacher and having kids in school, and we don't go into teaching for the money. Yep, the money is nice. Yes, it made that decision as a first-year teacher with a husband still in school a lot easier to go over there. Did I want to be over there? Nope, I wanted to be here. But we don't go into teaching because we think we're gonna make a lot of dollars. We go into teaching because we care about kids, and we want to help them see that they are loved and supported and are smart and can do fun things and good things and can be contributors to society, positive contributors to society. Since I worked in Kansas, I've since substituted in this district, and I think the best thing that you can do for teachers is to support them and to show them that their work is very meaningful, and let them be heard when they have complaints, when they have concerns. I think that speaks really well of a district when you have a teacher who is talking to other teachers at whatever collaborative events they might be at and saying, yeah, my building administrator listens to me. He cares about what I'm concerned about, what my struggles are in my classroom. I think that is really important. We can't always do everything for every teacher. We can't just add on to her classroom and make it 10 feet wider so she can accommodate those kids, but there's something we can do. We have a saying at my house, it's be a problem solver, not a problem creator, and I think that is part of what I hope to help do in this district.
I think what all of them have said is very consistent with what we want in our teachers at Webb. Every year in our budgeting process, we spend a lot of time on the salary to make sure that our teachers in Southwest Missouri are at the top or closest to the top as we can afford as a district through our budgeting. We take that on every year very seriously, and I would hope that our teachers feel like that we do them well every time we can. Last year we had a substantial raise for them because what we want is to retain our teachers, and I think we do that well. I think we retain what we have. I know Jeannie talked about the new teachers coming on, but I always enjoy when we see our retiring teachers, and if we have anything for them, how many years is involved with their retirement. It's a host of experience that's leaving us. Then we have the new ones that come on, and we're fortunate. We do hire a lot of people that came and did their student teaching here. We have an opportunity to see them before we actually bring them on board. And I think through our principalship and their information to the administrative office, they make great decisions on the people we hire. But retaining them is important, and we work hard on the budget to try to pay our instructors as much as possible. And that's through the support of the community as well. So it's hard to get new teachers, it's hard to find good ones. We have to be careful what our children are exposed to with what we hire. So we work hard on it, and the administration screens very strong, and it's hard to keep good teachers, but we work at it hard. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next question. What is one of your biggest concerns in the future for our students? Her microphone's a little bit different than everyone else's. It's cantankerous. Okay. What is one of your biggest concerns in the future for our students?
One of the things I'm concerned about on the students is I want them to have had enough desire to learn as much as they can, so when they leave our school and they head into second education, you know, that they're going to be smart enough to know what they're needing to know to further their education, to further their careers or whatever. I'm not saying that they're not being taught that in our schools. They are being taught well, but some don't have the right mental attitude toward that, and it causes a problem for them when they get into college. So that's what worries me. Nowadays, well, according to the news, things are really different in colleges, and I'm concerned about what they're heading into as fresh students.
What I would like from our district is I would like for every student to feel supported. I would like for every child who comes through these doors to know that there's an adult in this building, or whatever building they're in, that cares about their success and believes in them and whatever capacity that they can get things done, that they can be a contributor in the classroom or outside of the classroom. I think that we sometimes get bogged down with things like scores and comparing and things that in the long run don't matter to the kids. They don't. They just, those things, I mean, good grades, they matter. I got some scholarships and that helped, and those things matter, but what really mattered was there were people in that building who weren't kids, who were adults, who said, hey, you can do it. And I think if it's our motto, or it's our saying, it says every cardinal every day or something like that on all these things that I get from the school. And I think if adults, teachers, administrators, cooks, I don't care, janitors, PTO, whoever can get in our building and tell kids, hey, I'm here for you, I'm rooting for you, you can do this, this is where you can make a difference. I think that is my goal. I want kids to feel supported and believed in by adults.
I agree with what's been said, because it's a complex thing, the fear of what the future is. Our students, we want them to have a great day. There are many, many students that attend our school that the best day, part of their day is being in school. And you see that with the packages we send home with them for weekends for food. So many of our kids are blessed, but there's so many of them at risk. And I want them to complete their education experience at Webb City. And I think that what Aaron said is very important, that they know that we care about them. And, all of you can relate that somewhere in your life a teacher greatly affected you, one way or the other. What was said to you or what wasn't said to you, what was done to you or what wasn't done to you. And so that's a challenge for our administrations, for our principals, right down through every teacher, every day, to make a difference in these kids' lives. Because our goal is for them, whether they're going to college or they're going into tech school or they're just going out into the work industry, it's for them to be successful in their life, to be good mothers, good fathers, good husbands, good wives, good everything. And the school lays that foundation. And we want those kids to take that foundation and keep building on it throughout their life. And so their school experience is really important. That's a big worry. Tonight I was telling Jeannie, I said, we just need our kids to be happy. Kids need to be happy. Drastic things happen to them all their life. So our educators, our teachers, our janitors, our coaches, in my grade school, my best friend was our janitor. And I didn't think he was a janitor, he was my best friend. And if you wanted something, he'd make it happen. But every one of us can reflect back to something positive in our school. And I just think that we need to continue to focus on that real hard to make sure these kids are successful in their lives. And the foundation starts right down there in preschool. And what we do with them and how we push them right along, encourage them to do their best, and they can depend on us. We want them to be able to depend on us. That's kind of where I rest it.
Man, some great comments there. When you said one of our concerns, I guess for me, my concern for students, all students, not just ours, but in the world, some of them lack social skills, and I know that's not because the school's not teaching them social skills. It's social media, I think, and that's one of my concerns. I'll say that. What Aaron said and what Dave said, every student should have a teacher that they remember. When they get out of school, out of high school, I want every student to have a teacher that presents them over down here at the Cardinal Stadium, a teacher, a staff member that they ask to present their diploma to them. I feel like if every student is touched, connected with, supported by, and encouraged by one teacher, and it could be the first grade teacher, I want you to give me my diploma. I feel like if we can do that for every student, we've done something.
Definitely. Okay. Next question. What changes should be made on the state and local level regarding education?
Well, that's kind of broad. Pass. Do I get a pass? What changes should be made on the state and local level? I'll just give kind of a brief synopsis. When I taught in Kansas, my eyes were open to a whole new world, because at Webb City, I don't think we do now even, there's a really big agriculture department at the school where I was teaching. I didn't know anything about it. I was teaching business, and I was teaching Excel spreadsheets, and I knew all about those. But it was really cool to show those kids with a farming background that, hey, you can put your data into this spreadsheet and it'll spit you out some numbers. So here's where I'm going with that. I really don't like it when even the state comes down with some rules about, the whole state needs to do this, when we have so many small communities that specialize in different areas and different things. I've got a pig farmer over here, and then I've got a financial planner, a family over here. I've got a teacher, and you just have so many different specialized areas, even within your different school districts, that I really don't care for broad, overarching rules and regulations. I think that districts should have the freedom to pick and choose some of those specific curriculum items and directions that they go. Just like, Carl Junction, I think, does maybe have a little bit bigger agriculture department, because there are some farming families over there, and Joplin definitely doesn't have very much of that because they're not. And so it just makes sense to keep that at the local level and not try to make big standardized plans. That's something that bothers me.
I think that, hello, Dan, can you hear me back there? I think that what Aaron's saying, and what you'll hear from Jeannie and Will as well, this is an ever-ebbing flow, legislatively from the state of Missouri, but also from the federal. And I'd sure like to see the federal back out of more of it than anything else. And but there has to be some consistency of what all schools are expected. So there always has to be something that we have to hold ourselves to or be a part of. But there are a lot of things come towards us that are difficult to swallow for our specific type community versus others. And this is something that you need to keep in contact with your legislators, your congressmen, to complain or explain your position so that they know, and to remind them that we elected them and they're to represent us, not themselves.
I guess I would say at the state level, again, going back to finances and being able to plan and manage a district and its funding, not having funds held hostage, not being held hostage by political fighting, having the representatives in Jeff City to stick to their commitment on funding education and making sure that we know that well in advance. And that's part of it. You know, at the local level, something that we're doing locally here, which I think is, you know, one of the coolest things, is we now offer high school students credit while working in industry, in offices, in areas that they think they might have an interest post high school or after college. And it is so cool to see that and think that, you know, when I graduated 30 years ago, I think we could have gotten some college credit while we were in high school, but I really don't know. I know I didn't. But, you know, to have kids, like, they're so much closer to, like, a career potentially. You know, as a high school student, counselors will say, well, what do you think you want to do? No idea what I wanted to do, but I know that what we're doing for high school kids right now, high school students right now, giving them a chance to go to a hospital and work with a doctor, work with a lawyer. They're seeing like what it's really like. It's not something they read in a book or someone tells them about it. So locally, I think that's really cool.
Well, one of the things really going along with Will was the financing. By having the state in charge of our financing, we really have a problem with them comparing St. Louis, Kansas City, and, you know, even Jefferson City, you know, big towns with little towns. And they don't give us a consideration on the small town of what we're having to go through with the little bit that they're going to give us. You know, they like to generalize too much, and we're on the low end of the deal. And also what Will was saying about the credits, the college credits that the kids can still get while they're still in high school. How awesome is that? And there are some kids that they have their first year of college taken care of before they even graduate from high school. Awesome. But back to the state thing, we just really need to have the state be aware of each town and what they have to offer, and not just because, well, that's the big town, we'll do this, or that's the big town, we'll do this. We may not be big, but we're still important.
Thank you. Next question. What kind of relationship should a district and/or the board have with this community, especially when you're looking at the parents and the families? Back to you. Yes, sir.
Thanks for starting.
Yep, starting over.
What is the relationship to the community?
Yes, what type of relationship should the school or the board have with the community,
I
especially?
think I mentioned that earlier in my conversation about the fabric of the community being woven into the school district. And I think we're blessed with that. And as long as we maintain that good relationship with them, we'll have a successful school, as well as Willie talked about our successful city, successful it's easy for me to say, community. But and our school district is made up of these small little communities that all came together years back. Truman, we brought them in, the Purcell, Alba, Next City. It was a difficult time when we did that, but it's for the betterment and it's worked out really well. But we have to keep our community spot on with what we're doing as a school board so that they trust us and they support us and they vote our bonds for our kids in. And so we've been blessed with that. Our community has trusted us for a long time, and I would wish and hope that we maintain that.
So the relationship between the school or the school board and parents, I think, school boards and administrators we consider 4,000 students when there's an issue. Sometimes moms and dads, and I'm a dad, I understand the glasses that I wore as a parent. Something that I think could be totally wrong, that when I put the weight of considering all students in the district, my perspective changes a little bit. So I think understanding that perspective, yet maintaining communication. I mean, I think most of the board members that are currently serving, if a parent would call and say, hey, I've got a problem with a principal or a teacher, they're not going to say, well, by gosh, I'm going to go to the central office and I'm going to talk to Dr. Rossetti and we're going to get this fixed. There is a chain of command, and everyone should adhere to that. But the communication, there's nothing wrong with it. We're all accessible at public events or on the telephone, and I think we all want what's best for the kids. The board members are not paid. And if someone was running for the board, and I know Aaron's not, this is not directed at you at all. I've told people that have considered running for the board, if you're running because of one issue, you're going to have a long 3 years if you get elected, because that is not, that's torture for you, really, because one person out of 7 is not going to get their way unless it's, a very cohesive issue. And so, but I mean, the communication, voters should speak, they should bring their concerns, and board members will act in a way that I think considers how a school district should be managed.
When I first got on the school board, I can remember people telling me the parents will not talk to you because they're too afraid. Well, I got the word out that I love to talk. I started getting phone calls, and the more phone calls I got, the more scared I got because I didn't know how to take care of everything. And then I had to realize that I don't have to take care of everything. I share it with the rest of the school board and the administration. And it was really great to get that feeling that the community was seeking us out to ask for help. Now, not every time you get a phone call, it's a good one. And there are times when not exactly what Will said, but there are times when I said, I'll help you take care of this, and regretted saying that, because not everything is able to be taken care of. But I am impressed with our school district, our Chamber of Commerce, the way that they all get along so well together. I think that's a big help for our school, for the people who are going to our school, for the parents of the kids that are going to the school, that they can talk to anybody, even on the city side.
I think the relationship between school and school board and community/parents should be an open and positive relationship. I think it should be easy to spot a board member at school events and say, hey, how's this coming? How's how's the bond issue coming? Or hey, I have a concern about this. And I think board members should be easy to talk to, easy to approach. I think, we shouldn't promise things that we can't promise. We should be open, though, for discussion and to hear things, and people should know that. I think my friends know that, but I'm also a personality who's like, well, are you complaining just because you just want to air this, or can we be a part of solution? And I say we because, I mean, if you come to me with a complaint, I sometimes expect some solutions because you know what's going on to make the complaint. So how can we make a solution? But I think that it is sometimes hard to find board members out in the community. I live across the street from one and had to track him down to talk about some stuff, and I didn't like his name. So I did follow the chain of command, go in and talk to a superintendent as well. And so I think that's important. I think that we need to be seen at things, and we need to be active in the schools. I don't know if this is allowed. I didn't even ask, but I'm president of the PTO at Carterville Elementary. Can I do that if I'm a board member? I don't know. I think probably it is a good thing for me to still be active in my kids' school while I'm serving as a board member, but maybe it's a thing that needs to be discussed. But I think, gosh, we need people other than teachers involved in our schools to support and to help each other out and to keep the communication lines open, because sometimes things get missed. Sometimes you don't know there was a forum tonight and you didn't make it.
But they are recording you tonight, and a lot of the faculty who have games and other extracurricular activities always look at the tape to see, and I always get feedback on our forums. So it's kind of discouraging when you don't see a lot of people out here, but I guarantee you the video footage gets a lot of people see it. So anyhow, my last question here, and we'll just add it to your wrap up. How does that sound? The last question here is, what are your priorities? And I think you could probably add that with your final, why we should be voting for you. Give us your priorities, why we should vote for you this time right now. Okay?
Thank you. So priorities, I want to continue our building project. I want to continue to look at things that we can do to make our district better, not just to maintain facilities that have enough space, but maintain facilities or build facilities that offer more to our students so that they can be prepared just like the kids in Kansas City or Tulsa or St. Louis or Bentonville or, name a big city that has lots of activities and lots of learning opportunities for kids. That's one of my priorities, making sure that we keep adequate fund balances to support our, $42, $43 million budget. And, so in a way, continuing some things we're doing and also, offer more to students and take the students' challenges to prepare them better and for a broader range of careers. I love Webb City. Everybody up here probably loves Webb City. We're all kind of born and raised here. We all have vested interests, whether it's our own kids or our grandkids or our neighbors' kids or people at church's kids. We are super fortunate to be in a community like Webb City. Not sure I'm better than anybody else up here. I would just say that I want to serve again. I want another 3 years. I want to make sure that we're giving kids the best we can and that we're making them feel safe, making their parents feel like their kids are safe, and making our teachers feel like they're safe. Particularly with all this stuff that's going on around the country. We see these stories, shootings here and there, and the people that get interviewed always say, never thought this would happen in our community, and we all feel the same way here, and that's not something I obsess over, but I know that teachers want to be feeling safe, particularly after a news event like that happens.
I would think that my priority is I want Webb City to still be thought of as one of the best school districts in the area. And I think that that is due to the leadership that we have in our school system, the administration, the teachers, the school board. I think that we are all part of that crutch that people look at when they want to go to the best school district in the area. And that's one of our, I love Webb City. I love Webb City area. And I have to say area because a lot of our students aren't just from Webb City. But I love the Webb City area. I love our school board. I love Webb City. I guess I do.
Me too.
My priorities are to create a positive community with the school and community, parents, teachers, administrators. I think we can get really far if we can support each other. My mic doesn't like me. It's cutting in and out. I think if parents can feel heard and respected and appreciated, and teachers can feel heard and respected and appreciated, and that flows down from the top. And so I think if we can facilitate that kind of atmosphere, then that is my priority, because that will attract more good teachers. That will attract good families who want their kids to be a part of this community that loves each other and is proud of their school. So my priority is a community of people supporting people, getting kids through what is a pretty tough world out there right now. I would ask for you to vote for me because that is my goal, and I do think it is good to have new people occasionally on the board, and I do value the same things these people do. I am from here. I love and respect all the things that Webb City has done for me and the board has done to keep those things rolling. So I just have I think I have a little bit new and different perspective as a former teacher and as a mom with kids spread out all through the buildings in the district. So that's why I would ask for your vote.
Thank you. Aaron, we think it's good that we have someone else wanting to join us, and that's what this forum is all about. It's for our community to see all the four prospects for the board to be reelected or to be elected. And I think what Will said, our priority is to see success of our students, to see the accomplishments from our teachers. Our children can only expand as well as our teachers expand. And we do a lot, there's a lot done with the administration to support teachers, to get them to cooperate with new ideas, lots of things going on. And we feel like that we have a good track going here at Webb City, and we want to continue. Now, Will said that most of us was raised here. Mom and Dad's farm was in Webb City District, and the house was in Carl Junction, so you know I'm the enemy. But anyway, all the schools, whether it be at Webb City or our sister schools around us, the success of our children are a reflection on us and our decisions and how we handle things and what we do. And I just want to see us continue with a strong work ethic with our staff like we have, our support staff, and our children to have the best chance that they can get coming through Webb City. And I think we will continue to attract good teaching prospects, teachers. As Erin said, she wanted to come to school here, but she ended up at Columbus, which was a great experience for her. And we have people that retire from our district go to Kansas because it's financially helpful for them. But our teachers are important. We want them to continue to be important, and our board decisions are in that direction. But the focus is on the success of our children coming through our district. And I would like to be involved with that another 3 years, and I appreciate your opportunity to talk to you tonight. Thank you.
Okay, I do thank each one of you for coming out this evening. And I will tell you, we are not from Webb City. Our family is not. We moved here from Washington State. And when I asked everybody, this was back in, oh my goodness, early 90s. And I asked people in the community, where would you go send your children to school? Because I was very concerned about that coming here and not knowing the districts and the neighborhoods and not knowing anyone. And everyone knew Webb City. And my next question was always, why? And not once did they say because of the sports. They said because the community supports the district. And I will tell you, the whole time we bought our house here, we live here, raised our daughter through the schools here, and that is so true. The community support for our district is fantastic, and I know it's because of the sweet attitude in how the district, the board and the superintendents and all the administration and teachers all get along with each other. And that is one thing at all of our CTA meetings when we talk with other teachers around the state, they say, what's the difference in Webb City? How come you guys work so well with your administration? And I always say it's because we are a team. We work together. And I think that speaks so well of Webb City and our community and our leadership. And whichever way the voters decide, I know that we will have quality leaders on our board. And don't forget, the vote is on April 4th. We did this a month early, so it gives you time to watch the video footage and everything else. And let your friends and family know. And thank you again for coming out. Thank you for attending, and look forward to seeing the results on April 4th. Okay? Have a good evening.